Hello and welcome to the debut episode of the County Grind podcast, dedicated to everything in English domestic cricket, from the County Championship to the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy to the T20 Blast, and yes, even the 100. My name is Michael, and joining me at the non-strikers end of the podcast is my co-host Zach. Say hi, Zach.
Hi, I'm Zach, and I'm at the non-strikers end.
So yeah, here we are. We're pushing off the mark for a quick single with this one.
Well, does that mean I'm going to be on strike? Because I don't think I can handle that pressure.
No, it's fine. I'm hogging the strike.
Okay, cool.
So, by the time this comes out, the Men's County Championship at least will almost be upon us, starting on the 8th of April with a full round of fixtures, everyone in action. How much do you know about the new format? We want to talk about the new format for a bit. We've done away with the divisions, haven't we?
Yeah, it's more of like a group stage style now, isn't it? So it's kind of more similar to the Blast.
Yeah, is it 3 divisions? Yeah.
3 divisions, yeah. And they're not regional either, like they were for the Bob Willis. They're all over the place.
Yeah, so looking at the groups here. So yeah, Group 1 is Derbyshire, Durham, Essex, Nottinghamshire, Warwickshire and Worcestershire. Group 2 is Gloucestershire, Hampshire, Leicestershire, Middlesex, Somerset and Surrey. And then Group 3 is Glamorgan, Kent, Lancs, Northants, Sussex and Yorkshire. So yeah, not really regional at all. Everyone's kind of got a rival. I don't think there's a big rivalry between Durham and Essex, for example.
No, but there's Lancashire and Yorkshire together, Notts and Derby are together.
Yeah, that famous Kent-Glamorgan rivalry that we always talk about. Every every year when the championship rolls around, we discuss who's going to win that legendary tussle. The domestic ashes, they call it.
That's what I love about the 100, is the fact that the Trent Rocket's biggest rival is Wales.
I thought it was Birmingham, our rival.
Oh, is it? Okay, that's
I think
good.
it is Birmingham,
Okay.
which just makes slightly more sense. Who has got Wales?
Is it Southern Brave?
I think it is Southern Brave versus Welsh Fire as the big rivals.
Oh, they are rivals.
Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. The 100 doesn't start for another long time yet. We've got a lot of red ball, a lot of traditional cricket to get through first, and we will also hopefully have some women's fixtures, but they don't start yet. They don't start till the end of April. So we will come back and we will talk more in depth about the Women's County Championship and the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy and the regional women's T20 tournament, which also takes place after the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy. Speaking of women's cricket, though, yeah, one of the bigger announcements of the last couple of weeks in the county game is the announcement of Sarah Taylor taking on a role at Sussex as a coach up there. I don't have much to say about this other than it's good.
Probably the best appointment anyone's ever made in a cricketing coaching sense.
Yeah, you may well be right. Yeah, I certainly, in terms of experience.
I can't think of anyone else I'd want to teach me how to wicket keep.
I guess the question is she going to play in the 100?
I hope so.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to get my Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia corkboard out behind me in a second and start joining up Red String.
Yeah.
But a couple of weeks ago, the 100, all their socials and on their website, they put up the best of Sarah Taylor
Right.
moments video. So I'm clinging on. Obviously, it's entirely her choice, and whatever is best for her is what's best for her to do.
Yes.
But from a selfish point of view, I'd love to see her slot in one of the 100 sides. Ideally at Trent Rockets, but probably more likely at Southern Brave.
I watched her in the Kia Super League a couple of years ago playing for when she was at Surrey, and she was just better than everyone else. She's just really good at cricket.
Yeah, she's really good. Yeah. And hopefully, it's obviously great that she's been appointed at Sussex. I believe she's the first woman to be appointed in that kind of role,
Yes.
in a sort of hands-on coaching capacity at an English men's side. And hopefully, moving forward, we'll get into a position where you don't have to be the best player ever to have graced the field to make it as a woman in men's cricket. But yeah, I think Sarah Taylor is immensely qualified for that role. And I'm sure there are a lot of women out there who are also immensely qualified for roles that they're passed up for.
Oh, down the leg side. Is this another Sarah Taylor special? I think we've seen it again. Look at that. And it's done.
So who are you banking on? Who's your number one pick? Mike's hot prediction for the many trophies you win for winning the Red Bull stuff this year.
Yeah, so you win the county championship trophy and you win the Bob Willis trophy, don't
Yeah.
you, for winning the final of whatever the county championship is this season. I don't know, honestly. I mean, realistically, it's probably one of either Essex or Somerset. They have been kind of the two dominant teams in the last few years. They played the final last season. They essentially played the final the season before, where it went down to the wire with them two playing each other on the last day to see who would win. I don't see why it won't be them two again.
Yeah.
with the smaller groups, you feel like the England players will be more crucial than ever before, with less games and each game being more significant. If you have your England players at the start of the campaign, you can get 2 games out of them. Joe Root gets off to a flyer for Yorkshire, for example. I think they'll be in a run for it.
There's so much cricket being played at the minute, you just don't know who's going to be playing when and whose leg's going to be broken and like who's going to be completely shattered. It's just impossible to tell, like, who can play when.
We should lay our cards on the table right now that we are both big Nottinghamshire fans. And in fact, that's quite a good segue now to talk about what our main topic for this week, which is, will Nottinghamshire ever win a game ever again?
Probably not.
Do you remember the last time Nottinghamshire won a 4-day game? Can you recall?
Was it against Kent in 2018? No, it was Essex. Essex. And
there
Matt
we go.
Milne skittled their top order, and then he moved to Kent.
Yeah, it was the 23rd of June 2018 was the last time Nottinghamshire were victorious in a 4-day Red Ball game. So I don't know about you, but this last year of pandemic living has kind of messed with my perception of time. I found it quite hard to tell how long ago events took place. Some events feel like they happened 100 years ago, and some events feel like they're very recent.
Yes.
So with that in mind, Nottinghamshire's last first-class win was 1,019 days ago.
Right.
If you're listening to this on the first day of the county season. So with that in mind, I've got a little quiz for you, Zach. Okay. I've got a list of events here, and you have to tell me whether they happened before or after Nott's last win.
Oh no.
So we're going to start off with cricket. You know about cricket, we're doing a podcast about it. Alistair Cook, England's record run scorer, scored a century in his final test against India at the Oval. Not a dry eye in the house. It was a momentous day. Did it take place before or after Notts' last 4-day win?
So, when was the win?
Notts' last win was in June of 2018.
Okay, it was before Alistair Cook's final game.
You're saying that the Notts win was before Alistair Cook's final game?
Yeah, I think it was the same summer, but Alistair Cook's was just after. His last game was just after.
You're absolutely correct.
Yes.
It was a full 78 days.
Oh wow!
after Nottinghamshire's last win.
Thank you for the context.
For a bonus point, Can you tell me the number of opening batting partnerships England have had since Alistair Cook retired? Just to put in perspective how long it's been since Nottinghamshire won that game.
Is this partnerships or batters that we've used?
This is partnerships.
7?
Yes, it is 7.
Yeah.
That does include the time that Joss Butler and Ben Stokes opened the batting.
I didn't even think about that one. I was thinking Denley, Roy, Burns, Sibley.
But yes, a long time ago. Moving slightly away from cricket, who was the Prime Minister when Nottinghamshire last recorded a county championship victory?
Was it still Theresa May?
It was Theresa May. She will remain Prime Minister for a full year.
Oh, wow. That was really 50-50 on that one for me, I'll be honest.
So moving away from the shores of England now, moving across the pond, Blue Ivy Carter, daughter of Beyonce and Jay-Z, she recently became the second youngest person ever to win a Grammy.
Right.
Was she born when Notts last won a 4-day game?
Yes, she was born because they make reference to her in Parks and Recreations.
Yes, she was born. Yes, she was 6 at the time.
Right. If you'd gone for the other one, that other child, I wouldn't have known that.
For everyone playing along at home, Beyonce and Jay-Z's other 2 children were born at the time of Nottinghamshire's last county championship win, as far as I'm aware. The big problem I had when putting this quiz together is finding memorable events that aren't really sad.
Yes.
There's a lot of events that you remember happening are very sad. So we've gone for one that was certainly memorable for me. Remember that time a couple of years ago when everyone got obsessed with drones over Gatwick?
Yes.
Was the Gatwick drone incident before or after Notts' last county championship win?
I think they were the same summer. It was like the same year. I want to say it was just before.
That is incorrect. It was 180 days later.
180?
Yeah, it was that Christmas.
Oh no, that was really bad.
1,000 flights were affected, which you'll note is slightly less than the number of days since Nottinghamshire last won a first-class game.
Amazing.
I should note that we are saying this all with love. We have watched on the live stream almost all of those games that they failed to win since, and we would dearly love for them to end that streak as soon as possible.
Yes.
But I think you have to laugh at a certain point, and I think the point is 1,000 days.
Yes. Still hurts though.
So last one, I've gone for another incident on a fairly similar line here. So do you remember that time the Thai soccer team got stuck in the cave?
I remember the time the Thai soccer team got stuck in the cave.
So for me, when I was looking this up, that felt like it was 100 years ago. Was it before or after Nottinghamshire last won a county championship game?
I think it was after. I think it was like 2019.
Well, I'll confess this is a slightly a trick question
Ah.
because it's the same day.
Wow.
Obviously that's it was an ongoing event, but the soccer team went into the cave on the exact same day as Nottinghamshire's last county championship win.
Wow.
I feel that really just drives home the point that it's been a really long time since Nottinghamshire last won a county championship game. And with that in mind, Ross Taylor top scored, by the way.
I forgot he'd even played for Nottinghamshire. He was
in
great.
that game with 146. Yeah, he was crucial in our history.
Yes.
He won the last ever game Nottinghamshire ever won.
Yeah.
Presumably, up until this point.
Ever. And they'll ever win again.
So go on then, for one more bonus point, even though you're not competing against anyone, it's just you.
Just for
but I
me.
guess if people are playing along at home, we're happy for them to do that. Can you guess the number of players that played in that game for Nottinghamshire that are no longer available to them, either through leaving the club completely or removing themselves from Red Bull selection?
Okay. Thank you for telling me Ross Taylor, because
I can see him on the Zoom screen. He's looking very serious as he counts on his fingers the number of players. Again, this is an audio medium, so if you could...
sorry, I'll
pick
name them out loud. So, Libby, Samet, Milnes, Mark Footit, I want to say, was playing in that game. That's a really... I don't think he was.
Mark Footit was not playing in that game. I like you thinking...
I
Can we guarantee that Mark Footit isn't still available for selection for Notts?
have no idea. So Ross Taylor, Ricky Vessels,
Mark, if you're listening, by the way, please feel free to write in and let us know if you've retired or not.
Matt Milnes, have I said him?
I think you have said him. Do you want me to just say?
Yeah.
Rather than
Billy
have our
Roots.
dear listeners... Yep, he was there. So there were a full 8 players in that side who are no longer available,
Oh, wow.
Including the entire top 6.
Oh, great.
Chris Nash, Jake Libby, Samet Patel, Ross Taylor, Billy Root, and Ricky Vessels all played in that game and are all no longer available
here.
to Nottinghamshire. They've all moved on to pastures new. And also Matt Mills and Harry Gurney, who is still
yes.
available in various formats for Nottinghamshire, but not with the Red Bull.
If you'd asked me when Harry Gurney retired from Red Bull Cricket, I definitely would have said before then.
Well, there we go. But that brings us nicely into discussing why it's been so long. Do you have any theories?
High player turnover, like you just said.
Yeah, I should have looked up beforehand, really, but I imagine I heard Dave Bracegirdle on the game against Oxford talking about the number of players in Nottinghamshire's Red Bull side who haven't won a game yet. And it's a lot of them, as you can probably guess by the fact that the entire top 6 isn't there anymore, and they've all been replaced by someone.
I think it's high player turnover and the fact that it was all the experienced players that left. Because it was Brendan Taylor, Chris Reed, Michael Lum, Greg Smith to a certain extent. It was a lot of the players that had been around the block have left.
Yeah, and I think you can't undersell the impact of losing James Taylor in the manner in which he was lost.
We've also signed a lot of James Taylor-like players. Like, we've signed Duckett, Clark, Ben Compton is wristy James Taylor-like. It's just been a conveyor belt of James Taylor's, really, our transfer policy. Which you can understand because he was so good.
Yeah, he was in a real losing Taylor and Reed in such quick succession, especially in the, as I say, in the manner in which it wasn't just a normal retirement with Taylor. It was a much more kind of a body blow to everyone at the club. And as you say, a lot of young players who haven't had a chance to bed in yet. And I think the snowball effect of just defeat on defeat really kind of took its toll, didn't it?
I remember, was it towards the end of the 2019 season, where morale was just completely destroyed, and Mull came out and did this incredible interview with one of the press pack, where he was like, "Yeah, we're not good enough. We don't deserve to win cricket games if we're going to play the way we've been playing." And
Yeah.
like he was brutal. He was just absolutely brutal about what, like, completely honest, and it was amazing to see. And I think it definitely brought me around. I don't know if it did it for a lot of Notts fans, because I know there's a lot of animosity towards the way we play our red ball cricket, but it definitely brought me around to the idea of, okay, we might not win for years, but it's not through lack of trying. It's not through lack of passion.
Yeah, and they with the Talk of Trent Bridge podcast, the in-house kind of podcast that Nottinghamshire run in the off season, they really kind of, particularly in the winter of 2019-20, they really came in and they started hitting really hard on that fitness. We saw hundreds of videos of them running up and down Gotham Hill. Yes. and doing triathlons and on the bikes, and they must be the fittest. They must be the fittest county side in the country at this point.
It looks like
really going hard on that.
I mean, Zach Chappell takes the averages up on fitness, on pure muscle mass.
That's true. He is a
brick wall of a man.
An Adonis. So we should give them credit then for that with what was a better Bob Willis Trophy than the 2019 County Championship season.
We should have won a few games in that, but
it had its moments. There were definitely green shoots. It was annoying that Ben Slater scored one of his 200s for a different team. That was frustrating. But once him and Haseeb Hameed came together, I think Hameed's a really good addition to our top order. So there's definitely some green shoots there. Duckett and Clark are obviously top level operators. You feel like they will eventually have to click. Tom Moores continues to be the most frustrating cricketer I've ever seen in my life.
I'll watch him every day though. I would turn in to any cricket match if you told me Tom Moores was playing, and I'd watch it just to be confused. Just to be like, what am I watching?
And if you're listening, Tom, come on the podcast.
Go on the podcast.
Oh, here we go again. This is beautifully picked up on the leg side. Magnificent shot from Tom Moores.
Okay, the season is upon us. When do we think that Nottinghamshire will record their first win of the season?
2023.
Damn. You don't think they're going to win one this season then?
I think we'll get one this season. I think we will. I didn't tell you who against. Probably... No, I'm not... No, I couldn't tell you, probably... I don't know. I couldn't tell you who against, but...
You don't even think we can beat Durham first up at Trent Bridge? Maybe Stuart Broad will be there. That might make a difference.
That might make a difference.
Bit of optimism.
Maybe a Stuart Broad. Maybe Worcestershire, maybe Derbyshire. Warwickshire's an outside chance of... Oh, probably. Yeah. Yes. Right, the last thing I want to talk about is, have you seen the new Yorkshire kits?
I have not. You mentioned them earlier, and I deliberately didn't look them up so that I could give you a live on-air reaction.
Because I think they are beautiful.
Are we looking at the T20 kit?
Yeah.
Oh, hello. That is good stuff.
For those who can't see this podcast, it's kind of a floral number, would you say? It's kind of a blue and black floral number.
It's the White Rose of Yorkshire. I think Yorkshire, when it comes to picking their colours, are unfairly hampered by the fact that they can't wear white. I know it's the Yorkshire team, not the Leeds team, but they are based in Leeds. It's the White Rose of Yorkshire. I think Leeds United do some really good work with their kind of white base. And I think Yorkshire are unfairly hampered when it comes to selecting their colours, that they can't have the white. But I think this is a very nice option. Sussex had a really nice kit last year, which was hampered slightly by the betting logo.
Honestly, these days I just appreciate any T20 kit that's not yellow. There's too many of them.
But Notts have a great yellow T20 kit, so...
That's gold. So I'll...
Okay, sorry. I've been cancelled already. Episode 1, and I've been cancelled. So, one last thought from you, Zach. We're approaching the first round of fixtures. Who is going to walk away as top run scorer after the first round of fixtures?
Lewis Deploy from Derbyshire.
You're always banging the Lewis Deploy drum, and I'm excited to see what he's up to. I'm going to go with Sam Northeast. I know Northeast hasn't actually played for England, but he's always been in that conversation. And there's always an England middle order player who scores a bucket of runs.
He's the Mark Noble of cricket.
I was going to say he's the new Gary Balance. There's always a player who just feasts on runs in the first couple of games, and everyone demands that they get picked for England. And I think it's the year of Sam Northeast.
Okay. I don't think that you're wrong. I think I'm wrong, but I think you could be right.
Well, we wait with bated breath. Are we going to set up a fantasy team? Are we going to do fantasy county championship?
Sure, why not?
I don't even know if that's possible, but if it is, we'll
I
put
don't
some
know.
links on socials probably.
Yes.
If we even have socials yet.
Do we have
don't.
socials?
I'm gonna manifest it. I'm gonna say follow us on Twitter at County Grind. I'm gonna say that's the handle. I haven't looked to see it's available yet, but but if it's not, I'll just take this whole bit out. So
Okay.
yeah, and that's all for this week. We'll look forward to joining you next week when both of our predictions will be blown completely out of the water, and we'll be celebrating Notts' first win in 1,019 days.
Woo!
Bye, guys.